What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. This is Web Dev Journey, and in today's video we're going to be focusing on checking in users into our application. Now we are going to be doing Font Awesome as well in this video, but that's going to be a short part of the video. So it's mostly just checking in users in our rooms, okay? And I do have a little section for the icon since we're going to be using Font Awesome. I do want to do this first, okay? So what I have here is the little section to add in your room's template. So let's just copy this, go to your application, go to rooms, and then right on top of item right here, we're going to add that little section, okay? And this is going to be the section for all the little icons that we have. We're going to have one for trash, we're going to have one for user, and we're also going to have one for the video. The trash is going to be for deleting a room just in case you don't want it. The user is going to be to check in that specific user. And the video is obviously once you checked in, if you log out for some reason, you go back in, you can just click on the video without having to check in. So that way you go straight to the video. But yeah, we're going to be focusing on these two for right now. And then later on in the video, we're going to be in the series. We're going to be doing the video. Okay. So before we even get into the functionality of these things, I want to get the icons of the trash, user, and video. So that way our application looks a little bit nicer. Okay. Now I want to add that Font Awesome stuff in this main.js. And the reason for that is because I want to add every icon that the application is going to be using in one single file right here. So that way, if we need to use that trash icon somewhere else, we could literally do that without having to repeat certain steps. So right here, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to import some things. So import some stuff from, it's going to be at Font Awesome SVG core. And the thing that we're going to be importing is called a library. Now this is going to be holding all of our icons. Now the other thing we need to import is the icons themselves from and I'm going to use the solid SVG icons. You can use whatever icons you have. That's why we've installed all of them. We got the free solid ones, we got the free regular ones, and we also got the free brand ones. You can use whatever you want, honestly, but I'm just using the library or the icons from the free solid SVG. And the icons that we're going to be getting is FA trash. We're also going to be getting the FA what was it? Video, and the FA user. There we go. All right, now all we need to do is literally just say library, and we want to add we want to add all the icons, the ones we just got, FA trash or FA video, FA user, FA trash, like that. And that's it. We're basically done with adding libraries or adding icons to our application, so that way we can use whatever we want. Now inside of rooms, we do need to tell Vue, hey, we're going to start using a Font Awesome component. So we do need to import a component first of all, and that component comes from import something from at Font Awesome. Whoa. It's supposed to be Font Awesome Vue. Do I not have that? I thought we imported everything that we needed. So Vue and then Font Awesome. I guess we don't have it. So what I'm going to do is actually install that. Clear. I think I already have it right here somewhere. Yeah. Import npm I Font Awesome and then /Vue Font Awesome. And this might take a while, so I'll be back when this is going to be done. All right, it's done. There it is. All right, so once you have that installed, what we're going to be importing is literally called Font Awesome icon. Now, this is a component that Font Awesome Vue Font Awesome gives us, so that way we could just call out the icon that we want to use. But since we are using a component, we need to tell Vue, hey, we're going to be using a component, and that component is called Font Awesome icon. And make sure you don't forget the comma right there. So above, now we can start using Font Awesome icons. And it's kind of weird. You're not going to expect it, but it's not called Font Awesome Icon. It's literally called Font Dash awesome dash icon. This is a component, and all we have to do now is just say the icon we want to use is going to be equal to the trash. You don't even have to put the FA, you just put whatever it is, so trash. Because remember, this is getting it from the library that we got. So it knows when you say trash, it knows that, oh, okay, they want to use the FA trash. Now I'm going to do this for the other ones as well. Copy this, paste, paste. This is going to be user, and this is going to be video. Control save, and it should look pretty good. Let's head on over to our rooms, and there you go. Here's our font awesome icons. It's looking really, really good. Now we're gonna add functionality to these icons one by one, and the first thing we're going to be doing is deleting this room just in case we don't want it. Okay, so I'm gonna focus on this button, this trash button, the delete button. Okay, so over here in our application we do have something. Well, we don't. We got to add it. Sorry. Where is it at? Oh, right here. So when they click on this button, let me actually put these in another line so that way it's a little bit nicer to read. Oops. When they click at this button, click, we're gonna emit, because we're gonna add this function to the app.view. So emit, we're gonna emit a certain method, which is called, we're gonna call it the delete room. Right, but we also need to pass it the room ID. Remember, we're grabbing those room IDs from item right here, item in rooms. So all we have to do is just say item dot ID. That's it. So this is the room ID that we're passing into this method, the delete room. I'm gonna copy this, and in app.view we are going to add another method. So right below add room, I'm going to delete room. But before I do that, let's actually add this. This is going to be a little bit hectic as well, so I'm gonna just fix this real quick. Oops. I'm right here. I'm gonna say at paste delete room is going to equal that method that we're going to be adding. So delete room. All right, we're passing that into the router view, so that way rooms could have access to that. So delete room is going to be a function, and remember, we're passing in the room ID. So I'm going to say room ID right there, and it's very, very simple what we're going to be doing. We got to navigate all the way to the room, the one that we want to delete. So db.collection, we're going to go inside users first of all. It's always users, and then right here doc, we want to go into a specific document, which is going to be this dot user dot uid, and then we're going to go back to a collection of the rooms, and then we want to grab the specific room of the room ID, the one we sent in, and then finally we want to delete that. And that's pretty much it right there. So control save this. Now it should be working. So if we go back to our application, and let's actually open up Firebase. I'm opening up Firebase, and here we go. Is this mine? I mean, is this the right one? That's what I know it's mine. I'm saying if it's the right one. All right, and so in Cloud Firestore, we have, in my rooms, we only have two, right? So add anime lovers and calling all weebs. All right, so I'm gonna create another one. This is testing. Right, here it is, and I'm gonna delete it. So first of all, let's check if we do have it right here. I just want to make sure everything's working just right. So now we have testing right there. All right, let's delete this. There it is, it's gone. And there it is, real time, it is gone. You saw that, right? So we only have calling all weebs and anime lovers, which is a good thing. So that functionality is working. Now we're going to be focusing on this other icon right here, which is the check-in icon. Now, what exactly is this? So when a person checks in into my room, I want them to check into this room so that way they could verify that they're actually authenticated, first of all, and second of all, that they really want to be in that room. I don't want to send a link over to them and then once they click it, they're already streaming, right? No, we don't want that. We want them to, just in case, we want them to be sure that they want to join that room. And also we want them to we want them to give a display name that they want to display, for their display name. Even though my name is WDJ Weeb, but just in case I don't want WDJ Weeb to be my display name for this particular room, I want it to be something else, then we could just absolutely do that. I want them to have fun with this, right? So yeah, that's basically what this check-in does, or this button does. It's going to check you in, make sure that you want to be in this room, give your display name, and then check in. And then once you're checked in, you could actually, start streaming if you really wanted to. Now, I will say this check-in stuff could be optional. You could literally just skip this check-in, screw them. Like once they hit that link button, they're going to start streaming right away. You could do that absolutely if you want to. You're pretty much done with this video. You go on ahead and go with the rest of your day. But we're going to be adding this check-in. Now, before we get into the actual coding of this, I do want to draw a diagram because this part is going to get somewhat complicated. And it's not complicated, it's just kind of hard to figure out what's going on, okay? Oh, well, that's way too big. All right. So, this is my room, obviously, right? We don't have a search bar to search up other rooms. That might be a fantastic little add-on that someone could probably do and, push it up and I'll merge it. But anyways, we don't have that search bar. So these are the only rooms that I know of. The way that you guys are going to be able to join this particular room, let's say anime lovers, right, is that if I send you a URL link, and this URL link is going to have my host ID, or actually my user ID, my ID, and also the room ID, right? Because once I send this link over to you guys, and then you click on that link and then come back, the only way for you to actually attend it is to know what room ID we're going into, right? And we're going to be adding you into this room ID. And the only way to do that is if you know what my user ID is and also my room ID. So we're going to be sending a link to you guys. I just want to clarify it one more time. I want to be sending a URL link to you guys. You click on this URL, click, right? And it's going to take you to this http / whatever /chat / my ID. So I'm gonna just say host ID, right? Because this right here, if you're joining my ID, I need to give you the host ID, which is me, right? I'm the host. So host ID and also the room ID, right? And you're gonna be brought into a form called the check-in form. This is the middleman that we're talking about, right? So that way you can make sure you want to be in this room. So once you're in this room, you're going to give out your display name. I'm going to say display name. And also you're going to say, I do want to join. So you're going to check that or click that button to check in. So once you checked in, you're going to be rerouted to another page. That's another video, but you're going to be rerouted to another page, which is basically the streaming page, right? But in order to get here and in order for me to know that you're actually in my room, you do need to click this link right here. And also you need to have my host ID and my room, the room ID. This is going to be so much clearer once we start coding it and you actually start seeing it in the database clearly. Okay, so let me actually get rid of that. All right, let's get to coding. Okay, so we have the deleting. Now we're going to be doing the check-in, and for the check-in, I do have a template for you guys. So go over here, click on template, grab that check-in template, copy that, go back over here, and create another view called the check-in.view. And we're going to be adding that right there. Control save. This does have some things already in there, when you submit this form. Remember, that form is just your display name, whatever your display name you want it to be. Also, we also have data that we need to keep track of, the room name, and also the display name, okay? But before we get into this, let's just actually add this to the router index. And here we go. I'm gonna copy this And I'm actually going to go over here and add that first of all. So check in dot view, and this is going to be check in, check in, check in. There you go. All right, but like I said, this path isn't really just slash check-in, it's slash check-in slash the host ID or host ID. We're adding these colons so that way we could add parameters to this path. Oh boy. And then / the room ID. Okay, let me write that capital D. All right, so I'm going to add another path in here, and that's going to be the path is going to be everything else, just in case they go wander off other than these paths. If they wander off, we want them to just to redirect to the home page. Okay, all right, control save this. So let's route this path to that. Let me actually copy this. Let's route this path to the rooms, that button. Where's that button? This user button right here. And I'm gonna actually make this a little bit more nicer. All right, and then route a link so to, and we have to actually bind this since we're going to be using template strings for this, and it's going to equal template string. There we go. It's going to equal the same thing, but the host ID is going to be from the user, me, remember me. So the $, parentheses, user.uid, and then right here is going to be $, parentheses, and this is the room ID, which is literally the item ID, remember? So just grab that item ID, item ID. And since we're using user, we do need to include that in the props. So right here, user. Oh wait, why did I have an array? Oops, user. All right, and it's giving me an error because there's another 2 right there. All right, so let's try to give this a shot and see what happens. Going back to the browser, let's click on this right here, and it should take me to the, okay, it should have taken me to the check-in page, which it did, as you can see right here. But I do have something in the check-in page that gives you this error if there's no user. Let's go to the check-in page and see what's going on. Move that over here. Check-in page. So I have this if there's a user, this whole div is going to show. Else, if there's no user, then we're going to be grabbing this. Okay. Sorry, access to room is only available to registered users. Please log in or register and try again. Remember, check-in doesn't know anything about the user, so we do need to do some stuff in here as well. Now, this is going to be kind of tricky for the user trying to grab the user. You might be saying, well, we're already passing the user from app.view. You know, from in here, we're already passing the user so that way every other component could use it, which is absolutely true. But that also, you're also assuming that they're going to be going into the application, signing in, and then going to your the link that you sent them, right? What if they just click on the link itself, right, and they're not logged in? We're not going to know that. So we do need to keep that in mind, okay? So over here, let's create some scripts. Script, and we're going to be keeping track of 2 things. Remember, the display name and also the room name, okay? So we're going to have data. It's going to be a function, and we're going to return some data, which is going to be what the, good God, I forgot. Display name, yeah, display name, which is going to be null, first of all, and then also the room name, which is also going to be null because we don't know what it is for right now. All right, so also let's try to get props. If you are already signed in and you click on that link, well, we are going to have a specific user, right? So we need to grab that user prop. Now this is assuming that, like I said, this is assuming that you've already signed in and all that stuff and you've never signed out, right? Now, what if you're signed out and you haven't signed in and you click on that link? Well, you should be getting this sorry access to rooms. But I also want to make sure that you are signed in. So what I'm going to be doing, and this is pretty much optional, I guess, but what I'm going to be doing is when this component mounts, so I'm going to say mounted, when this component mounts, we're basically just going to check if there's a user signed in or not, right? So we're gonna, first of all, we do need to import Firebase. So import Firebase from Firebase. All right. So what we're going to be doing is saying, hey, Firebase. Let me make this a little bit nicer. Firebase dot auth. Okay, why is it? Oh, because mount is supposed to be, sorry. There we go. All right, so Firebase, hey, auth dot on, what was it on auth? Wait, sorry, auth, we're calling it dot on auth, state changed. There's going to be a user bag. Basically, we're just checking if there's an actual user. And right here, we're going to say if there is a user, then what we want to do is just this dot display. Wait, what's happening? Why, man? Why? Don't forget about that arrow. God. All right. So this dot display name is going to be set to the user dot display name. Now, like I said, this is just making sure that they're logged in once they hit that URL. Obviously, if they go to the application first, log in and all that stuff, they're obviously going to be a user. But what if they hit that URL link first, right? We got to make sure that they're logged in, and this is going to be doing that for us. Now, I'm gonna comment this so that way you know what it's going. So this is getting user. Now, another thing that we want to do once this component mounts is grab the room name. Now remember, once they click that URL, I keep on saying this, but once they click that URL, they don't know what room it is, right? So we want to give them a nice UI so that way they know that, hey, this room name is called this, and we could probably even set the host there as well, but we don't have that. But we just want to grab that room name. So the only way we're going to be grabbing that room name is from the URL parameters. Remember that, right? In the router, we're sending in the host ID and also the room ID. And this is going to make sense because in order to get the room ID, we need to know where the host is or who the host is, right? In order to get into the rooms collection of the host. So in here, we're going to be getting room name. So let's start that, and we're going to be using DB, so we do need to import that. So import DB from, I think it's out one, right? / DB. Okay. So right here, DB dot, we got to go into the collections. Collection. Let me, there you go. And the collection is the users collection. And then after this, we have to go into that host ID, right? That host ID, which is the person that created that room. So we have to grab the doc of the host ID, which comes from the parameters, which is the way we grab that is this dot route, not router, route. I made that mistake in the first place where I said router, and it took me quite a while to figure out that it's not router, it's route. So this dot route dot params dot host ID. Okay. After we grab that host ID, we could then go to that user's collection of rooms. And then after that, we could actually grab the document of that specific room in the parameters, which is exactly the same thing as this. Copy, paste, and it's just room ID. Room ID. Room. All right. So once we have that, we're going to do a get method. So that way we grab the data, and then a document is going to be returned back to us. Ooh, what? Okay. And I'm right here. I'm gonna just check if doc does exist. So dot exists. If it does exist, what we want to do is just set this dot room. Oops. Room name. We're gonna set that equal to the doc dot data. Remember, room name is a field. is a field value, so it lives inside the data method. .data.name. Else, if it does not exist, well, all I'm going to be doing is just pushing them to the home page for right now. So this .router, this is where you will use router.replace, and we're going to just go to replace, and push is kind of the same thing, more than likely. So control save this. So all we've done so far, this is a lot for the things that we're doing. All we've done so far is grab the user if there is a user, and also grabbed the room name of the room name that you're trying to get into. So let's see if this is working or not. Let's go back over here, and there you go. Let me go back, rooms, and let me go to calling all weebs. Let's try to check in, right? We're checking in, and there we go. We're in the check-in, what's it called? Page, and we already know the room name, calling all weebs. We could actually have a host right here. Probably you could add this if you wanted to, saying that the host is, and then give them my host name or something like that, right? But hey, we all know that this is working very well. Now what we need to do now is handle when they hit this check-in, what happens next, right? So when I hit this check-in, what I want to happen is I want to add the user that's trying to get into my room. I want to add them to the to a collection. The name of the collection, we could call it whatever we want. I'm gonna call it attendees. So we're gonna add that user to the attendees collection, and also give them in there with that user. We're also going to add that display name, the one that they created. So let's get to that. And I already have something right here. Remember, we've said that once they hit that check-in button, we're gonna have this little method. So handle check-in. So over here, right above props, I'm going to add methods. And we have that handle check-in, which is going to be a function. And let's not forget about this comma. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be emitting another function that's going to be living in the app.view. Or maybe not. We could just leave it right here. It does not really matter. The reason I said that is because I'm going off of what I wrote previously when I did all this already. I'm going off of that. And to me, now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, that doesn't really make sense. Since it only happens in the check-in.view, we could just add that method right here. Which is kind of retarded. What I did is kind of dumb. So anyways, right here, we could actually just do it right here. So like I said before, once they hit that check-in button, what we want to do is add that user to the rooms collection, or that specific room. Add a collection inside that room called attendees, and then add that user inside that collection attendees. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a bit. All right. So first of all, I'm gonna create a variable called const room ref, and this is just going to point to the that whole structure to get inside the rooms collection. Okay, for this specific room. So you'll understand what I'm talking about. So room ref is going to be db.collections. We're just going to go all the way to the rooms. Users. And then I'm just going to bring it another line so that way it won't be confusing. Oh wait. We got to get a doc first. And what's the doc? It's that host ID, the one we got right here. So I'm just copy this. Basically, I could copy all of this right here. Copy all of that, paste right here. And this is the room ref. Remember, this is just the room reference of the actual room that we're trying to get. That's it. That's why I have this variable, because we're going to be using this string quite a bit, or just twice. So I just wanted to have it in one place so that way I don't have to keep on doing that. So right here, what we're going to be doing is grabbing the room ref, and we're going to grab the data. So .get .get. This is going to return a promise, so we can use .then. We are going to get a doc back. Okay. And I'm going to just make sure if doc exists one more time. If doc exists, then we want to do some stuff. So if doc does exist, what we want to do is add that user to the attendees collection for this specific room. So basically we're going to be using the room ref again, and we're going to be creating, since we don't really have a collection of attendees, we're going to be creating one, but we don't have to create one. All we have to do is just say collection, collection, and just do whatever you want, like add a name in here, which is going to be attendees in this case. If you don't have one, it'll create one for you. If you do have one, it'll just add whatever you need to add into this. So once you have that, we're going to go inside the room, the collection, the is it two E's? Attendees, right? Anyways, we're going to go to the attendees collection, and then we're going to be creating a doc with a specific user ID, right? Which is going to be this user uid. Now remember, guys, this is different from this, okay? This is the guy that created the room that you're trying to get into. This is you. This is the current user that's logged in right now, okay? So we're trying to add you because you're trying to join my room. So we're going to add you, which is the UID, and we're also going to be setting some stuff, some field values. Remember that display name, you created that display name for a reason. So we're going to just say display name, and we could just basically say that because it's, well, no, we can't. So display name is going to equal to this display name. And I also want to have a created at field, created at, so Firebase .firestore .field values what is it, server? Yeah, server timestamp. And if everything goes smooth with the set, it does give you a promise back, so we could say then. And what I'm gonna do here is just push you to the home page for right now. We don't have an actual, working chat page, I guess you could say, a chat page where you can start streaming. We don't have that yet, so what I'm gonna do is just point you router to the push home page, and make sure it's just $1 or you will get errors. Well, I don't have that. Add that. All right, control save. All right, let's check this out. Man, I'm actually kind of nervous. There's a lot of code that we wrote. So let's go to calling all weebs. Let's check in, and I'm actually going to be changing my display name. I'm gonna do Weeb King. All right, let's check in. So we should be redirected to the home page, and yes, okay, that's a good thing. Whew, what a relief. Next thing, let's check our Firebase. Let's see what's going on over here, and let's go back all the way to the user. So the user rooms. What is the room? Calling all weebs. So this is a room that someone tried to, attend, and it did happen because we actually created a collection. So collection of attendees, and we added my user ID, which is 8FR2, and we could make sure that that's correct. The user, there it is, 8FR2, that's me. So where is it at? Right here, attendees, 8FR2, and my display name is Weeb King. But to make sure that this is actually working, like absolutely working, let's try to go into, let's open up Firebase and try to log in right here. Okay, so here's a Firebase console, and I'm gonna put them side by side so that way there's no trickery involved. So I'm gonna just say localhost 8080. Let's log in. Well, I don't have a login, so let's register. And my display name is going to be Smack Daddy. I kind of misspelled that. I could smack, right? Anyways, email asd@asd.com and password asd. Let's register. Don't save this. This is actually I'm trying to see if everything is working. So let's go to authentication and ASD. There we go. We have someone called ASD. All right, so that's good. Let's go to rooms. We don't have a room. Remember, the only way I could check in into this room, calling all weebs, is if I send the link to this guy, to the what was his name again? The Smack Daddy. So what I need to do is just get in here again one more time and just grab this URL, the check-in and all of this stuff. Grab that, and instead of rooms, it's going to be check-in. Get rid of this / check-in with my I'm gonna just refer this guy to WDJ. So with WDJ's ID and also the room number or the ID, right? So if I hit enter over here, I should be getting, okay, he wants to check in to calling all weebs. And I'm going to just say, I want my username to be weeb brethren. There you go. Weeb brethren, you know, check in. And it went to the home page, which is a good thing. So let's go back over here and let's see if it actually happened or not. Let me make this bigger. Cloud Firestore. Now you're not going to see a new user right here, and that's because I haven't created a user or a room. Once I create a room, that's when the user is added. But if they're not creating rooms that you want to join rooms, well, we don't really care, right? Maybe we should care. Maybe that should be another thing that we add automatically, but we don't. But let's go to rooms. What is it? The calling all weebs. Here it is. Attendees. Now there are 2 users in here. One of them is the Weeb King and the other one is Weeb Brethren, which is awesome. Now let me actually create a room in Firefox, and I'm gonna just go a normal on this, man. Node.js. I'm gonna add a room, and there you go. So if I go back to homes, users, now I have 3 users. Here's my first one, here's my second one. And this guy only has one room called Node.js. There you go. So everything is working just fine. Now we have, where is it at? Rooms. We got rooms, attendees now. And now we have users that it's inside this room, okay? With their display name. Now with this said, there's a few more things that we're going to be doing with just Vue and Firebase. And then we're going to start getting into, you know, actually using WebRTC, which is the video communication stuff, or the real-time communication stuff. We're going to start getting into that, guys. Don't worry. I think it's just like one more video before we start using WebRTC, Vue WebRTC, and you're going to start seeing that connection and all that stuff. Just one more video. Just wait one more video. Not this one, another video, and then we're going to get into that WebRTC, okay, guys? So in the next video, that's where we're going to start gathering the meeting information, because we're going to be creating a chat page. This is where everything's going to happen, right? We're going to have all the attendees joining this page, all the attendees for this room, and then we're also going to have the streams for that room. It's all going to be in this one page, the chat page, okay? So that's in the next video, guys. I hope you're enjoying this series. Thank you guys for spending your time watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for supporting me. And also, if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe down below, and comment down below, and then subscribe if you have not. So thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.